So we're going to take a hike on some of the trails at Maxwell Park. There are 6 different trails totaling over 15 miles. They're used with equestrian riders and hikers. So this today we're at the parking lot for the hikers. It's off of Teagues Point Road, just south of Cockburn Road. And we're at the Brown Trail. It's the longest and the steepest as far as up and down. So we're going to do that one first, and then we'll take a look at some of the other trails. There's a map here in the parking lot and of the trails. And you can actually, if you go to the Charles County government website, under parks, you can download this map. There's a link to it. The one on the left there is the brown one. And in other days this week, we'll take a look at some of the other trails. And there's pretty views and a lot of history here with these different trails. There's a logbook where you can sign in so that they know that you're out hiking. And the COVID update, avoid gatherings of more than 10 people. It's just me today, and I'll keep 6 feet away from others. And if need be, I've got a mask. And here's a new sign that they just put up here recently, reminding us to maintain social distance, wear a face covering when you can't, and don't use the park or trails if you have symptoms. And there's some other rules here, and now we're going to walk, and it says flood damage on trails, please use caution. So we'll be very cautious as we go down the trail. This is the Brown Trail, and off in the distance you see a sign, and that sign is about a butterfly garden. And that at one time there was a ton of milkweed planted just to the left of the sign there in that field. Don't know if it's still there or not, but come spring maybe we can come back and take a look. This particular sign has a poster with all the birds, the state birds of the United States. And let's see, we are in Maryland. So Maryland is the Baltimore Oriole is the state bird of Maryland. And now we will get back on our trail. And I believe this is the sign about the butterfly garden. And it talks about the monarch butterfly and the migrations down to Mexico every year for the winter. And now we're going to head on our way again. So one of the first things on the Brown Trail that we come up to is this old tobacco barn. Give you a view here of the hills. This is looking downhill. I can imagine a couple hundred years ago the people riding their horses up to this tobacco barn, or the plantation owner visiting it, or some of the enslaved workers that were working the fields here, tobacco and cotton. We'll take a look at the barn. Maybe walk around it. Got a tree growing up over it. We'll look at the back side of it. On the other side. Yep. So off in the distance we can see a clearing. Some of these clearings are leased out to farmers where they farm it. And reading my trusty map now, it says the Brown Trail is 3.5 miles, most challenging trail. For the equestrians, it starts off of the Green Trail. The riders travel through woods up and down steep hills in some ford areas. The trail features 2 rest areas and scenic overlooks. So we'll put the map away until the next trail and see what this open area is all about. I should have mentioned that the trails and Maxwell Hall House, the historic house, sits on a 700-acre park. The 21 acres around the house are owned by Charles County, Maryland, and the rest of the land is owned by the state of Maryland Department of Natural Resources. Yeah, it is getting a little wet here, so we've had some heavy rains over the last couple of weeks, and I can see where there might be flood damage here. We'll see if we can make our way out to the water to get. So here we are on the trail again, and I just want to show you how we're going downhill, down. So on a horse, this would be a pretty steep hill. And we're going down the hill, heading towards the water, I'm sure. And it is getting a little muddier here. And slippery too. There's some sitting water now, you could see. And I'm going to shut off the camera to have better footing. So this is the muddy trail here that I just made my way around. And we still got some slippery stuff coming up. But I wanted to show you this running creek here. That this is the low point where a lot of the water is right beyond this little pond too. So we'll see if we can make our way around this and keep going towards the water. So here we are at the first scenic overlook. And a little story here about the bald eagle. And there's this is either Swanson Creek or the Patuxent River. There's a Chalk Point power plant across the way. A couple of ducks out there swimming. Very pretty day turned out to be. And here we are approaching the second scenic overlook. This is much closer to the power plant across the way. And that, my friends, is the Brown Trail.